What up, guys? Hope you're having an amazing day. Today's episode is going to be all about this huge coaching lesson I learned recently while getting my boat license. So if you guys are following me on Instagram or Facebook, you guys know that I spent the last 2 weeks prepping and preparing for my boat license. So my family and I could create some memories, on this lake that we live nearby. And so I joined this boat club, which is super amazing. And they were very strict, though, because they have like a fleet of 19 boats, and they're awesome boats. They're all brand new. And they want to make sure that their members know what the hell they're doing when it comes to driving their fleet. So me being super green to boating, I've been on tons of boats, but I've never driven one. Never had my license, so I had to go through, the written test, and then I had to go through they actually make you do a driving test as well. This is done mandatory by the boat club because, like I said, they want to feel confident in you while you're driving their fleet. And I had this awesome instructor, right? And he was just awesome from point A to point Z when it came to prepping us for the test and then getting us out on the water. And as I was going through the physical test, something hit me that I wanted to share with you because there's a lot of coaches and consultants out there that I do a lot of work for. And I've had people come to me and say, a lot of people just aren't seeing the value in my coaching, and that's why my sales are hurting. And I remember those days like it was yesterday where, I had feedback from some of my coaching programs a couple years ago where people were like, yeah, it was good, but it kind of lacked the punch I was looking for. And you might have hired somebody as a coach and felt the same thing where you just weren't getting the value out of what it is that they were trying to teach you. And so I want to help you guys level up the value of your coaching program. And this is why I want to shed some light on this topic today, because I don't want you to have to refund people after they go through your program. I don't want you to have to get negative reviews or mediocre reviews online from people that went through your program. I want you to have a top-notch program where people are like, you have to go through this person's program. You have to check this out. This was so amazing. I got so much value out of it. And I'm going to throw myself under the bus right now. I remember it was just a couple of months back. I was at it was a retreat with a bunch of creatives, so videographers and designers, and we had a little after hours session, right? And I remember somebody had a question in the audience, and everybody could chime in and sort of help answer that question. And I remember the person asked the question, and I was so quick to respond with the answer. I was so quick to just answer it for her. And you could tell she got zero value out of what I was saying to her. Zero. You could tell. And then the facilitator of the retreat said, "Do you see what Henry just did? He just like jumped at her and tried to resolve the issue without thoroughly going through what her pain is and why she was asking the question in the first place and kind of walking her through the steps." So he did it, and you could just see the look on her face. She got so much value out of his approach than mine. And he wasn't doing this to throw me under the bus. He was doing it to help me, but help the audience understand the power of challenging people's assumptions and digging deeper before trying to solve people's problems. So that's the big thing here that I want to address with you guys. I want you guys to, instead of just jumping at the answer or just giving them the answer straight out. And I used to do this on coaching programs, and you could tell people just weren't getting the value. For example, I would go through 4 or 5 work sessions, and I would literally fill out the session notes for my clients. And you could tell they were just sitting there like, I guess Henry's going to do the whole thing for me. Like, I guess, and you could tell they weren't getting anything out of the program. So I was like, I have to change this up. I need to get them more engaged. I need to get them more involved and challenge them more. Even if the silence is awkward, when you ask a question, they kind of look at you with like a deer in headlights. You have to go there. Otherwise, they're not going to get it. It's not going to sink in. So one of the things that my boat instructor did was he took us out on the water. This is funny, right? He took us out in the water and he goes, Henry, you're next. Get in the captain's chair. And now I never driven a boat in my life, but so I was a little nervous, but me, I'm ready. Like, just let me at it, So I was excited about it, right? And so he was making me do all these awkward, like 90-point turns and showing me how to get out of tight situations. After that, he made us go super fast. He was like, I want you to go as fast as you can to the point where it's uncomfortable for you to operate the boat. Then I'm like, is this guy nuts? So I had no choice. He was behind me. And I had to crank that sucker, full bore to get it to, I don't know what we were doing, maybe 25 knots or something like that. We were probably going maybe 40, 50 miles an hour on the water. And the equivalent of that is like maybe 90 or 100 miles an hour on the road. At least for me, that's what it felt like, right, with a car. And he pushed us. He was not letting us get away with it. Now, I thought to myself, what if he did this whole training differently? What if he sat behind the captain's chair the entire time and did all the maneuvers and just made us watch? Do you think we would have gotten the value out of that coaching? Probably not. Right? So I took my family out for the first time yesterday, and it felt so comfortable because I had already done a few hours of training with this coach. So I was very comfortable behind the wheel. Luckily, I got everybody back. We saw this huge storm coming over us pretty quickly. So I was able to get everybody back to the dock safely. Literally, we docked and it started downpouring. So it was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun. But the point that I want to make is this, all right? I'm going to share with you one other example. So I'm working with a brand accelerator right now, brand accelerator client right now, and we're building out their back-end infrastructure. What does that mean? Well, they're a consulting firm, okay? And one of the partners expressed to me that he had a little bit of imposter syndrome because he didn't have the back-end system or process in place that he felt comfortable with when it came to executing his coaching, right? Everything was sort of fragmented. Everything was sort of all over the place. So he was getting a few coaching clients, but there was no real system to bring them through. So I said, okay, let's kick off our execution phase of the Brand Accelerator program with getting you the back-end systems you need, right? So we jump on a call yesterday, and it's the two partners and their COO. And I said, here's what we're going to do, guys. You're going to get Monday.com. That is a project management software platform. There's Basecamp, Monday, Trello, Asana. There's all these different types of project management platforms that you could choose. We use Basecamp, but Monday seems to be the new hot one. I've tested it out. I've tried it. I love it, but it's a lateral move for us. So we're not going to change just yet. But since they were just starting out, they were like, let's do Monday. So I was like, all right, well, get an account, get it set up, and get it ready for our call because I'm going to put you behind the driver's seat on our call. So we jumped on the call yesterday, and I said to Eve, Eve, get Monday open, share your screen. I'm not going to be the one filling it out this time. You are, right? And so what I did was I challenged their thinking because they thought they had their system in place. They thought they had each step laid out. But as I continued to challenge them, they realized, ooh, we have to put a little bit more meat on the bones here. This isn't going to be, the value of this program needs to far exceed what we're charging. So we need to add a lot to it for it to carry its weight, right? But if I were to sit there and fill out the whole thing for them and just give it to them and say, oh, here you go, they would have got zero value out of that. So I put them behind the captain's seat, like my instructor put me behind the captain's seat of that boat, and I guided them through the process, but I made sure they were doing the work. So I was the instructor, just making sure they weren't going off course. And then when they thought they had it, I would challenge them and say, are you sure? Do you think this is enough? My concern here is that it's not. So we want to over deliver on our coaching program so that when we get into the execution phase of your program, they're saying to themselves, this is a no-brainer. I have to move forward, right? So this is a huge, huge problem for a lot of coaches and consultants because they're doing just enough for their coaching program, or they may not be providing as much value as they could be due to their coaching style, right? And I want to just share my experience with you because I don't want you to make the same mistake I did by just giving them everything without challenging assumptions, without getting them behind the driver's seat, behind making them get involved and engaging them in your coaching and consulting program. Because when they get involved, they're going to feel ownership. They're going to feel like it's sinking in, and there's something about tactical. There's something about actually doing it that makes it stick, that makes you retain the information better. So that's all I got for you today. But I hope this makes sense. And I hope this makes you start to say to yourself, is my coaching program the best it could be? And if not, how can we improve it? So instead of trying to get more followers on Instagram, instead of trying to do all these things that you're jumping the gun on, take a second to ask yourself, is my program the best it could be? And if not, let's focus our attention on that. Like as I continue to build my Brand Accelerator program out, I'm constantly trying to figure out, how can I make it better? What are small tweaks? What are some small things I could change to make it more powerful, more impactful? Right? When you start to do that, when you focus on that one thing, I'm telling you, it's going to change the game for you. It's going to feel easier. Because I know a lot of you guys are overwhelmed right now. You're spinning your wheels. You're trying to figure this all out. What do I do first, second, third, fourth, fifth? I don't know. I'm getting information from 17 different courses right now that I enrolled in. How do I know what I should be doing next? Well, I'm here to tell you, focus on making your program the best program it could be. Engage your clients. Make them work a little bit. And watch what happens. They're going to love you for challenging them. It's funny. I have one more story for you. So I'm working with a solar panel company in the New York City area. And before they came on board for us to build out their rebrand, they said to me, Henry, I want you to let us know what not to do. And I want you to challenge us. If we come to you with some cockamamie idea, we want you to be like, that's ridiculous. And here's why. People want to be told. People want to be guided. People want to be led. So I'll give you a funny example. So we're going over logo design with the client yesterday, and the client says, well, it doesn't really say that we're like a solar company. Like it doesn't say that it. And I said, does the Gucci logo say that it's a clothing company? And I immediately challenged his logic. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Maybe it doesn't need to have that, obvious, we are a solar company in the logo design. So there you have it. Get your clients more involved in the process. Get them behind the wheel. Get them doing some of the work while you just guide and facilitate. But make them do the work, right? Keep them accountable. Keep them, keep the bumpers out so they don't drift off. Because that's why they're hiring you. But if you just do everything for them, they're not going to learn. It's like trying to teach my son how to ride a bike by just riding the bike for him. If I don't get him on that bike and pedaling, he's never going to learn how to ride that bike. I think I nailed the point home. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. I would love to get some feedback. And if you haven't checked out the podcast on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube, drop me a review. I would love to get a better understanding of how this podcast is helping you, if it is, and if it is, how, because I want to be able to make this podcast the best podcast it could be for coaches and consultants and personal brands that want to level up their online presence and really create a business around them that they're proud of, and that they want to scale and they want to, create a lifestyle out of it. So have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode real soon. Take care.